Good afternoon, Mark Sudduth, HurricaneTrack.com here with your Hurricane and Hurricane HD video blog for the 22nd of September 2012. The only item of real interest, if you want to even call it that, is Nadine, the leftovers out here. Looks like this might make a comeback over the eastern Atlantic and still be sitting out here several days from now, meandering before it finally gets booted out, hopefully, as upper level winds, the steering current anyway, eventually gets rid of it. But we're going to have to deal with this again on the tracking maps, and it'll just add to the accumulated cyclone energy index, or the ACE points, and that's about it. Could eventually threaten the Azores once again as it meanders around. It's not too far off the Canary Islands, and that being said, it's not too far off the northwest coast of Africa. Tropical wave sitting in here, another tropical wave going through the Caribbean. But we are in an unfavorable MJO pulse right now. Things just not supporting, I say things, the upper atmosphere not supporting divergence aloft. We have a lot of sinking air, a lot of dry air, and that is preventing anything from developing. This 10-day time period, the last third of September, yes, we still have development that takes place between Africa and the Antilles, but we're really starting to watch the Western Caribbean, the Bay of Campeche area. The focus is really going to shift to this area here over the next couple of weeks, especially into October. And if we look at a satellite picture, going back to what we were talking about with Nadine, here's the leftovers here. Cold air, or colder water, more stable air around it. But for whatever reason, the global computer model's wanting to develop this back as it moves to the west again, I guess over a little bit warmer sea surface temperatures, 79, 80 degrees Fahrenheit, just enough to get this thing going. Here's a different perspective. You can see Nadine still has a very vigorous circulation. These are the Canary Islands right here, Cape Verde Islands down here. This is in the deep tropics. This is way up in the subtropics. Just crazy. What a year it's been. And we still have weak impulses of energy, these tropical waves that come off of Africa and they start propagating west, and they may develop in the Western Caribbean or Eastern Pacific, but I don't see anything developing in the deep tropics, probably for the rest of the season. Maybe one more. I think the focus will be the Western Caribbean area once we get past October 1st. In the Eastern Pacific, we have Tropical Storm Miriam, pretty well organized. It's going to move generally parallel to the Mexican coastline, as you can see here on the Hurricane Center's track map. Forecast to become a hurricane and then move over colder water and never be an issue for western Mexico, the Baja Peninsula. Now, when will we start to see some changes in the Atlantic Basin? Granted, we look at this every day, so it's kind of like a watch pot never boil syndrome. But the Euro, the ECMWF model, its MJO forecast, it's hard to see here, but some of the ensemble members now definitely getting the MJO over into phase 1. And you can start to see how everything's turning and heading slowly towards phase 8 and eventually phase 1. I think it'll be a weak MJO pulse, but it should come around here in this region right around mid-October. That would make sense, and that coincides to the secondary peak that we see in the hurricane season around October 10th through the 15th. And we have all of this heat content sitting in here at the upper end of the tropical cyclone heat potential chart, and that is a lot of very, very warm water and high ocean heat content. All it's going to take is for a general lowering of the pressures in this region, the favorable MJO pulse coming through, and maybe a tropical wave coming in to add its energy. And I think we'll see at least one development, probably two, somewhere in the Western Caribbean or Southwest Atlantic Ocean in the month of October. It's climatologically favored. That MJO is going to slowly come around, increasing the upward motion and the ability of tropical thunderstorms to develop vertically. We're not in an El Nino situation, even though the Pacific is a little bit warmer. As I've mentioned, I think these are all factors that suggest strongly that we have a good chance of seeing another hurricane develop before the end of the season somewhere in this region. Nothing this weekend, though. That is for sure. So enjoy the first day of fall. No worries from the tropics at all. And if anything does develop, it's going to be at least a week away. So good news there. Again, I'm Mark Sudduth, HurricaneTrack.com, my website. Always a pleasure to produce these videos for you in Hurricane and Hurricane HD. I'll be back with another one tomorrow.